Hi, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate all the feedback that I got on Friday from the survey that I sent out and saw a lot of really interesting responses. Most people looks like from your feedback, you're doing pretty well mentally and physically. And I saw some really good questions, so I want to take a little time to make a quick video to respond to those questions. Saw a lot of similar questions. So basically what I did is I cut 9 questions out of there, and I'm going to answer those 9 questions and hopefully I give you some information that's helpful for you. The first question that I'm going to be answering has to do about testing. Lots of people want to know about testing. Definitely get that. I would want to know about testing. I still want to know more about testing, so I have some answers, some things I don't know yet. So I'll tell you the best I can. Let's start with the easy answers. Okay, so first of all, SAT test. They are planning on running, as far as I understand right now, SAT. First possible test would be the first weekend of June. Okay, and they're not going to be changing, again, as far as I understand, the format of the test. But as soon as things are safe, they're scheduling the first weekend of June would be the earliest. But of course, we're going to have to just wait and see how things go. AP test. So AP test, if you haven't heard yet, if you haven't read yet, whether it's from me or from College Board or from friends or whatever, AP test is going to have some changes. It's going to be 45 minutes instead of 3 hours. So big changes. There's no multiple choice. It is only free response, 45 minutes total. We don't know the details yet. This Friday, the 3rd, AP is going to release, supposed to be the rest of the details. My best guess is there's going to be a little bit from each of the 3 types of writing. That's rhetorical analysis, argument, and synthesis. Maybe a paragraph for each one with a short prompt for each one. That's the best guess, but it's still going to be all those major skills for sure. AP was clear that basically the skills are going to come from the first 6 units. And we've been using that AP timeline the whole year, so that's really is an advantage for us, I think. Okay, so those are some key things. Oh, so because of that, in the future progress checks, I'm not going to require you to do the multiple choice. We're just going to really focus on those parts that are going to be assessed, especially because of the circumstances, especially because now we have, a month-ish or so until that AP test comes. So it will be online again. You have an option of taking it at home or at school, possibly, we don't know. So there'll be a May test date, or if you want to do it a later date, you can too. Okay, but here's the thing, before you think right away you want to do that later date, once school is done, it's going to be hard to keep that stuff fresh in your mind, as you probably are really feeling right now that even though school is technically still going, it's a little bit different when you're at home. And then for our class too. So yes, we're going to continue to have tests as we have planned right now. I've planned one for this Friday. Talking with Ms. Childress, the other AP teacher at Highland, we've decided we're going to postpone that first distance learning assessment until after spring break. We're coming up with a map for the next 2 weeks of instruction, the next 2 weeks of learning. That should be available tomorrow, working on some details. Okay, so again, working on that. We will not have an assessment this Friday. It'll be after spring break. So what I'm planning is there'll be a little bit of review when you come back from spring break, and then we'll have that assessment kind of midweek of that first week that's back. Okay, from there we'll be continuing on as regularly scheduled as far as the pacing goes, because that's what we're expected to do still, even considering the circumstances. So after rhetorical analysis, remember this is our last rhetorical analysis unit. After that will be argument and then synthesis. So units 8 and 9 will be argument and then synthesis, and that's the end of the school year. Okay, so more details to come, but that's pretty much what I can tell you right now. Some people want to know, are you able to make up or retake tests? Yes, I've been sending some things out. Some people have been doing that. So let me say a couple things about that. So hopefully you've been getting what I've been sending out, or what I've been posting in Google Classroom. First of all, for makeups. Makeups means you missed the test, you never even took it in the first place. Okay, as a reminder, you have to do at least one of those essential practices. That's what I'm checking first. If you haven't done an essential practice, you need to do that. If you need a prompt from me, let me know. I will email that to you. Okay, that's the first step. Once you do that, then let me know, and I will figure out, or I will contact you. You email me, and then I will let you know how you can go about making up or doing the retake, and it'll be in AP Classroom mostly. Okay, if you're looking to retake, what I'm asking everybody to do now, if you'd like to retake, you still can do that. Okay, so the same rules still apply because I still want you to have the ability to practice and get better and to continue learning, and that's what retakes are supposed to be about. I still want your grades to be meaningful as well. So if you want to retake, I'm asking everybody, because I want this to be fresh in your mind, I'm asking everybody to do a revision or of an old essay to make it better, or to do a practice maybe you didn't finish before, and then to email that to me or to share that to me, and then email me once you've finished it. Once you do that, then I will let you know about the details about how to retake, and again, it will be in AP Classroom. Okay, so those are some things about retakes and makeups. Lots of questions about grades. So how will grades be calculated? Simple answer, the same way, because I still want your grades to be meaningful. Okay, so I just went over the makeups and the retakes and said some things about summative assessment. So yeah, I still want your grades to be meaningful. Therefore, I'm not going to grade you on packets and stuff like that. I'm not going to start now, that's for sure, right? We started like this in August. Not going to go the other way here. April's coming soon. Wednesday's April already. So same way, it's a little bit, it's a little trickier to do that, but so same way, okay? So the practice, the reason that practice is important is the same reason throughout the entire year, okay, is because to get ready for the assessment, to practice your skills, because you really need that practice to get more comfortable, especially with the command of language and organization, analysis, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so same principles, the same theory really applies. Grades will be calculated in exactly the same way. 100% of the grade will come from summative assessment, but you still have opportunities to retake and to make up, okay, as much as possible. Got to be in communication with me, though, about that. All right, that's the third question. On to the fourth one. What should I be doing to prepare for the AP test if I don't know what a 45-minute FRQ consists of? Okay, good question. I kind of addressed that already, but here's the thing. I hope this isn't a surprise for you. All the things that we're doing, that I'm asking you to do, that are required of you, they are to prepare you for the AP test. Okay, so that's what you should be doing. You should be doing all that stuff. Now, if you feel like you'd like to do more in addition to that, there are more prompts on AP Classroom. You can ask me for some more prompts. I would say be doing more of what we're already doing if you feel like you need extra practice. That's a good question. Again, we don't know the exact format, but we do know the exact skills, or the standards that we've been focusing on through our first 6 units. So nothing changes with that, and that's what you should be doing. I feel like this question is probably a specific question about the format, but let's focus on the skills first, and then when we get closer to that, and Friday when we find out details about the test format, then we'll do some more practices that are specific to that, okay? Question 5. How can I maintain a stable momentum in my daily school routine? I really like this question. And so I would say, I mean, my answer is in part of the question, make a routine. If you don't have one yet, make one. You have about 2 weeks under your belt so far, approximately. This Wednesday will be 2 weeks of distance learning. You should have a pretty good idea what's been working for you and what hasn't been working for you. Okay, so think about your goals, what you want to try to do, right? I'm assuming it's like, complete all the stuff on time, learn as much as you can from that, be as focused as possible. So figure out, like, when do you have free time? Let me restate that. You probably have lots of free time. When are you best able to learn, right? For me, I'm best able to focus in the morning. And also, my family is not around and stuff because they're sleeping mostly. So I try to start as early as possible. That means I have to go to bed a little bit earlier, but that's always the case. So I'm pretty much sticking with similar routines because that works for me. I suggest you figure out what works for you, though. So for this class, for my class, I'd recommend about an hour a day to try to stick to that, okay? Because again, AP test is going to be tough, and you're competing against people around the whole country and around the world, like we've been talking about. And if you're not preparing to that level, somebody else is, and you're falling behind them. Okay, so remember, we're in this together as a class, as a school. as a county, as a state, as a country, the whole world. Like people are in a similar situation. Some are worse, some have it worse, some have it better. But people are finding ways to manage. You have to figure out what works for you. So find your routine and stick with it. But try to focus on what's important for you. Okay. Next question. Number 6. Do you plan on showing us new topics that deal with writing? So I'm trying to understand this best as possible, but remember, there's going to be no new standards. So if that's what you mean by topic standards, no new standards, okay? But what I would like to start to do this week is to produce some more specific tutorial videos. So if you have specific requests about skills that you would like more help with and more feedback on, please email me. I'm hoping to get the first one out tomorrow, but tutorial videos to really focus on, let's say, like pulling out rhetorical situation or part of rhetorical situation, writing it up in an introduction, things like that. Okay, so tutorial videos to come soon, and if you have specific requests, let me know. Question 7, will we be continuing on Unit 8 and 9 or just reviewing after the CSA since they won't be on the AP test? All right, so again, I kind of addressed that, but this question is a little bit different. So we'll be going in more depth on the same standards. So it'll still be Unit 8 and 9 because it's still our third go around for argument and synthesis. I'll be taking off what were supposed to be the new standards, and we'll focus on standards that we focused on before, but maybe not in the depth. So for example, in this particular unit for rhetorical analysis, we have that clarity standard. We've been focused on clarity for a while, right? But it hadn't been a specific standard, priority standard until this unit. You weren't scored on until this unit. So it'll be things like that, okay? And I will give you, once we get into that unit, I'll give you the new rubric. Okay, a couple more here. Number 8, are we for sure going back to May 5th, or is that subject to change? What do you think will happen? Good question. So May 5th is what the district officially announces when we're going to be back, plan to be back. That was just based off of the recommendations of Kern County Superintendent of Schools, okay? So the only people who know right now, well, first of all, nobody knows right now. Nobody knows. But the best people who know right now are the doctors and the scientists, okay? So we're all guided by them. These are just facts here. Okay, so nobody knows, definitely subject to change. Okay, I'm going to make an educated guess right now, and I'm going to say that based on the current state of facts here on March 30th at 2:30 p.m., doesn't look like we're going to be back the rest of the school year. That's what it looks like to me. I hope I'm wrong because hopefully things get better quicker, but that's what it looks like. So we should be prepared for the long haul, be prepared mentally. And then, as you're doing your work and stuff like that, to keep up on things. Okay, so there are a lot of implications for that, but that's what it looks like to me. Lastly, do I have any reading recommendations? Great question. I do. And so pulled a book off my shelf here. This is one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors. His name is Ernest Hemingway. I've talked about him. Hopefully you remember that. This is his first novel. It's called The Sun Also Rises. Right there. And don't forget, there are lots of opportunities for free books right now. I have some links on my Google Classroom feed, Audible Stories. If you Google that right now, you can get free audiobooks from Audible. You have to go to the part where it says that you're a student, so on and so forth. Okay. So anyway, this is a book, his first novel, and this is about. It's based off of part of his life, but it's a group of characters. It's fiction. After World War I. Okay, they were in Paris, specifically the left bank of Paris, and they kind of go around the city together. Part of this is the time, it's based off of his true life when he was younger and poor, and I think it was his first wife. He was married multiple times, and they just kind of enjoy Paris together. They enjoy each other. They're in cafes. Then they go over to Spain, and same kind of thing there, and they're kind of in these, they eat and they have fun together, and then they go to bullfights. It's how it kind of culminates. And so it's just kind of these small stories of them having fun in Europe and experiencing life in I would say mid-20s or so, and I think is just really interesting setting, interesting people. So it's called The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, and it's a pretty good book by a really good author. That's my reading recommendation for you. Okay, so hopefully got some answers to some questions. If I didn't answer something, feel free to email me, and keep up on your learning and stay safe. Okay, bye.